Okay, so this is the high definition lens. So there's a closer look at the type of gap underneath the material. If you notice, I'm using very flat neodymium magnets, which were supplied actually by Thunder Laser, and they are the correct size for this lens. Otherwise, you know, you use anything bigger than that and you stand the possibility of damaging your lens housing, your HD lens housing. Okay, so Lightburn. Okay, so we've opened up Lightburn and I'm going to import a picture from my desktop. Okay, my favourite character, Jack Sparrow, and there is only one guy that can play that character, I might add. Okay, so we're going to make that a little bit smaller. So we're going to put the lock on, and we're going to say we want this, oh, 150 high, maybe 150. Enter. And we're going to move this down here somewhere. Let's zoom in a little. Okay, we'll keep it highlighted. Now that is a very good high resolution picture. So what we're going to do is hover over it and right click. We're going to go into adjust image. Now this is one of the new features in Lightburn. Okay. And also the DPI. First of all, let's see what we can alter here first. Contrast, let's have a look. That's a little better. You want the whites to be really bright and white, and the darks to be really dark. Let's just have a look at the gamma. But they can also be too dark. So what I've just done then, I've altered the gamma, so we've taken away some of the dark and we've made it grey. So, you know, you don't really need another program. I want to keep the background in here. I'd like to see what the laser is going to make of that, you know, whether it's going to or what exactly it's going to lay down of that. Now this is a fairly important one here. This is the angle. Grayscale, we don't want actually grayscale. What we want is Jarvis. Now, Jarvis for photo engraving is about the best one. I've used several of them, and this is the one that I find works the best. Okay, the angle of, well, we'll come to that in a minute. I'll come to that in a minute. Let's have a look here. And we're going to alter this to 800. You saw it go a little snowy then, because what it's done, it's actually converted to little tiny dots. That's exactly what it's done. That's the original photograph, and this is the dithered photographs that the laser understands. Each one of these spots the laser is going to fire, and believe me, you need a high definition lens to be able to do this. Okay, what I'm actually looking for is patterns. Now, if you could actually see patterns in this, you alter this angle. Now that will shift the patterns out of sync so that it almost disappears. As you can see, it is there. This is my normal setting. So there's no evidence of any patterns there in the dots. Just wondering whether to actually bring the contrast down a little. To there. Yeah, I think I like it back where it was, slightly. Yeah, I think I'd rather that. There's a little bit of lag because I'm doing this on a fairly small laptop actually. It's a good one, it's Hewlett & Packard, but when you're dealing with this many dots, right, and here's an example of how many dots are in there. There's a lot. It's that figure times that figure, and that's how many sort of dots you have, whether they be white, grey or black. Okay, I'm happy with that, I think. I'm sort of thinking whether to alter the gamma just very slightly. I think that might look a little better. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll be interested to now see what the Thunder Laser makes of this, so we're okay with that. So we're going to go up here now, double click on image. Okay, so 300 millimeters a minute. Sorry, 300 millimeters a second. Now that's the normal one that I use, but I've got an awful lot of dots to get down. So in the interest of offsetting a bit of time, I'm going to make that to 50, which is about 10 inches a second, as opposed to 12 inches a second. That, I think, it's probably going to be a little bit too much, so I would say possibly, well, you know, I'm a newbie with this lens, and I would say, as it's concentrated in a very, very small dot, I probably want to go a little lower than what I normally would do, so I'm going to go to 16. a minimum of 2. Blowing off in this case. Now if you select, with the Thunder Laser, if you select blowing off, it will still introduce a low blowing air into the nozzle. You must always have air going into the nozzle because it keeps the lens cool and clean. Jarvis 22.5. That's okay. .800 DPI. And if you times this figure, if you're wondering what this figure is here, that would translate, if you times that by 25.4, you would end up with close to 800 DPI. So this is in millimeters, and of course this is DPI, dots per inch. So you will get used to working with imperial and metric. I'm happy with all of that, so I'm going to OK that. Don't know whether you noticed that. It was telling me, a message telling me that very few lenses can deal with 800 DPI. Of course, this is a Thunder Laser HD lens. We'll see if it can deal with it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the last file. Looks like I already have. Okay. Let's put this into the Thunder Laser and see what happens. So we're just going to write something like HDT1. This is going to take quite a while to go over to the controller, I think. I'll fetch you back in when it's in and when we're ready to do the job. Okay, so let's set up the datum. Go up here a little bit. Over. We'll set the origin there, or datum, and we'll do a frame. Okay, that'll do, I think. So this is going to be very interesting. I'll show you as much as I can, but it's going to be very difficult because the lens nozzle is so close to the material. To start off with, I think what I'll do is I'll take you in for the very front. You won't see too much of the picture though, and then when a picture starts to form, I'll fetch you back up here. Okay, here we go with Captain Jack. Better if I have my extraction on, I think. I can see straight off that that power setting is way too much, so I'm just going to reset the power setting down much lower. It's way too much. Okay, I've just altered two settings. I've dropped the peak power from 16 to 12, and I've raised the scanning speed up from 250 back up to 300 because it's actually burning a trench there. It's no good at all. So let's try this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start here. If it looks okay, I'll then stop it and retake it up further so we get a whole picture. So let's put my extraction on. And we'll give it a go. Wait a second. Well, you know, it's not bad. You can see here where, you know, it's really overcooked. In fact, it's in about probably, it's actually burnt in about not quite half a millimeter, maybe a quarter of a millimeter. This here is, you can just feel a 3D effect a little bit. And the same here a little bit. But this is just a matter of getting the adjustments right. I think I can make a damn good representation in HD of that picture. It just means a little bit of experimentation and altering the, you know, the settings, maybe take away some of the, you know, the darkness of the picture, and you know, reducing the power very, very slightly. I mean, that's a peak of 12%. Maybe possibly take it down to 10%, and maybe run it a little faster even. But I do want to get, you know, I want to be able to, every spot to form in making those alterations, I can, make these a little grayer, these slightly lighter. But you can pick out the gun there, his face. You know exactly who it is. The hair. It's not too bad actually. Just a little tiny bit too dark. I'll cut some more material and make those alterations, and I'll give it another go. So this is the last one that I did. Very minor alterations. I altered the contrast just a couple of points, as well as the gamma, and I've actually altered the peak power from 12 to 10, and that's the difference. This was a peak power of 12. It's a peak power of 10, and you can see that on his waistcoat here, you pick that up, even the button holes are actually being picked up now. Of course they're totally disappeared here, can't see them at all. So I think a little bit more tweaking and I can get even better than that. Of course, the material choice is not probably the best, but I think you can do a really good representation, high resolution photograph on, well, anything really that is able to be done with a Thunder laser, CO2 laser. That's quite spectacular actually, because my other 100-watt laser would not come anywhere near that. That's brilliant. That is a pretty good representation of a high definition photograph onto MDF. Of course, there are better materials to do it on, which we will try in the next video. In fact, we'll enhance that picture even more, because I want to do a few tests to get the absolute best out of that lens. So, if you've enjoyed the video, please press like and subscribe, and if you really like what I'm doing, you could consider becoming a patron to the channel. So, Thunder laser, high def photograph. That's not bad. I mean, this is my first time of actually using this particular lens, so even I'm gonna have to, take a bit of getting used to its way of working, but I can see a way forward with it, and to show real, more improvements with it, I'm gonna need some time to do some tests, more time than I've got on this particular video. So, and I'm really interested to see what that will do in glass, actually. But we'll try and get a little better representation, we'll try some on some other materials in the next video, and we'll end up engraving it into glass just to see what happens. So thank you for joining me, and bye for now.